Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a great morning. Thanks for joining me. I know it's been a week or so since I've posted. It's been a bit of a, a roller coaster between not having words, between and feeling like I've become numb. I just haven't known what to say. Lots of going on in my head. I actually just feel like I'm existing. Um, and I had a very nice phone call on Sunday, and yeah, that just helped me try and formulate in my head what I wanted to say, and gave me that bit of inspiration. So thank you for the call on Sunday. You know who you are. Um, so between Sunday and this morning, and like I always sit at night and go, what do I want to speak about? Is it worth speaking about? Is it going to be meaningful to anyone? And the aforementioned phone call was basically sometimes what I think is non-informative might help at least some person. Um, and the one thought that came to mind after my phone call on Sunday was I've lived my life in this, it's been like a war. And I'm going to explain something to you, and it sort of like flangles itself into different things. Um, so I've always lived this war when it comes to my family. Let me first just preface this by saying, at my age and where I am right now, I firmly believe family is not dictated by blood. All right. I listened to this whole thing about, where the whole saying comes bloody thicker than water. Basically, what it comes down to, where they're saying as you came from, it is, it's basically those that you would look after and share your blood with. Those are your family members. It's a very short version of what I had watched actually, but basically it comes down to it doesn't necessarily mean genetic blood and from birth mother and birth father. It means those that would lay down and you know bleed for you or give blood or something like that. It's loyalty. Um, okay, but jump forward. Um, so I've been going through a lot, and I don't expect people to jump in and go, "Hey, how you doing?" And am getting past the fact that I don't necessarily need people to fake emotion towards me. And I say this because from a family aspect, like a blood relative aspect, I craved that attention since I was a kid. You guys who were watching my videos, you guys know how disruptive my childhood was and how alone I felt. But so when I was brought up and I was brought into my father's family, um, there was like this not internal, there was this war between um, the truths. And because I had lost my father and my mother's version was her version, um, so you never know quite what to believe. And the reason I bring this up is, and I know this is going to be a very chaotic video, so just try and follow something. If not, get very confused, send me a message. I'll try and straighten it out. So when I joined the business I just left, the MD taught me uh, the first MD. He has a saying. He says there are three sides. There are always three sides to a story: yours, mine, and the truth. So I look back and I go, okay, with my mom and her depiction of the story of my father and life and why I couldn't see him and just her explanation of everything. And then there was my family's version, um, which contradicted, obviously. Um, and then obviously there was the truth, but look, we'll never know what their truth was because there's two versions. And I'm not saying any version is wrong. Well, I sort of am, but in any case, the person who would have been able to answer my questions has passed. Um, so I'll never be able to find that truth. So we'll always sit with those two, that war where you'll never find that solution or resolution. And the reason I started in a very chaotic way with this is my life's become easier. No, not easier. I've realized that there's always a war um, between family, between friends, between partners, between anything. And the biggest thing is, I mean, say you're having a altercation, and I don't mean physical altercation, with someone, and it's based on hearsay, and you feel a certain way, they feel a certain way, um, but there's no real concrete evidence. And until you make that, you have that communication with someone and go, okay, I hear what you're saying, I feel what you're saying. How can we resolve this? Okay, that's in a healthy relationship. And this is what we have to learn how to do. And sometimes when it's the war within ourselves, that's sort of what we have to do. And I'm really going off track here, because what I really wanted to talk about was Sunday proved to me that I have this side of the family and I have this side of the family. And I have spent my entirety of my life needing to be accepted by my maternal family. As that absolute craving that I wanted to be worth them. And the thing is, no matter how much they hurt me, no matter how much they wrote me off, no matter what they said about me, I craved that. And then you look at my paternal side, and I mean, I met them, I was 12, 13. I've never had to prove myself to them. Yes, we've had ups and downs. Um, but it's just been, there's an acceptance. There's, certain things I did, people weren't happy with. But again, it was your side, my side, no conversation, no trying to sort it out. But I could be whoever I was. I, from get go, I knew I was loved. Did I feel I deserved that love? Is completely different. See, the problem is this maternal side had made me realize, or made me think, that I wasn't worth it because I had to try so hard to fight for a shred of emotion, a shred of acknowledgement, a shred of anything. And when you force so hard and long for that, when the paternal side just freely gives, you think to yourself and you go, I can't be worth this. I I don't understand. And as I sit here and after the conversation, I started, you think and you go, as much as I love the side, and believe me, it's like heart and soul and it's home. Why I struggled for so long to create the bonds that I needed. And it really comes down to how I was brought up and the one side of my family that disregarded me. And finally, when I was recognized and loved, I didn't understand how to. And I mean, we can think about this in relationships, in ourselves. I mean, we think about it for ourselves. Um, I've been listening to a lot of little videos and things like that. Um, and it always says you speak to yourself the most. So whatever you're saying to yourself is what you're going to believe. So if you take my maternal and paternal conversation I just had, or comparison, if in the beginning you have been, I'm not good enough, you're fat, you're ugly, no one will love you, I'm not worth anything, and this has been going on in your head for so long that you've believed this. And believe me when I say I believe that, like, it's my head, it's a process to change it. And when you start finding yourself and going on this journey, and you start having to change the dialogue into I am good enough, I am loved, I love myself, you start not believing it, because in your head it's not the truth. You basing your current truth on your past experiences. And I think that's what messes us all up. And I think that's why I've been struggling so much. I, yes, am I struggling? Very much. Am I struggling as much as I was beginning of the year? No. Am I completely defeated? Meaning, have I given up on myself? Have I given up on life? No. Beginning of this year, I was suicidal and I had a steady income. And meaning I had a job, a proper full time, monthly payment job. I was suicidal. Yes, there was massive trauma, but it's not like the rest of this year hasn't been traumatic. You're still trying to get through what happened at the beginning of the year. It's been a roller coaster. I've had to change my mindset completely. And yet, and you would have seen in some of the posts I did where I was super emotional, super depressed. And I kept saying in those videos, I'm not suicidal, but I understand where people might think I am. And I've started to realize that the pain I'm feeling now, it's bad. Like it's gut wrenching, and sometimes I feel numb. I don't know how to answer things. I would rather become the logical version of myself. But, and again, referring to the Sunday phone call, I was told that I was brave for doing what I did. And I had, and you saw the last video, I was just like, I mucked this up. I shouldn't have done it. And it's not that I needed someone else to say it. Well, maybe I did. But it was, once it was said, I was like, you know what? If this was me last year, I would have been put in a facility. Beginning of this year, I I did it, and then I clung to any semblance of work. And then I had like a month and a half where I did, like, there was no work for me to do. And I felt absolutely useless. And I'm not saying I don't feel useless now, but there's a different mentality that's come from this whole change. Yes, I'm stressing my rear end off about finances and things like that. But much like the war of truths between families, much like the war of truth within yourself, I'd been filling my head with so many stories that if I wasn't working, I wasn't good enough. And that comes from past where you don't have a job and someone tells you you're worthless and you're useless because, you know, so and so has this fantastic job and you're sitting doing nothing. And you hold yourself to those comments, and you value yourself to those comments. And the thing is, we're not supposed to allow people to affect us by what they say. They always say, don't listen to them, it's what you think of yourself. I'm sorry. The person who can do that, if someone says something to you and not feel any feeling, like remotely, even if it's a tinge, and they're not feeling anything, I want to meet that person. And if you're watching, I want to meet you. And you can do this. Okay. No matter what, we can be happy, we can be faithful, we can be um, we can have absolute faith in everything and anything. But there is a part of our heart that when someone says something, the first reaction might be a little ouch, but we will always feel that little ouch. And sometimes we're not strong enough to silence it ouch very quickly. And that's where I've been. I haven't been able to silence it ouch. And I'm not saying I have. I'll always feel that ouch. It's just I'm human and I'm grateful for that. But I'm trying to win my war with my truth and not other people's truth. Okay, so yes, every story has three sides: yours, mine, and the truth. When it comes to our internal wars, our internal truths, so to be your truth of me, your version of me, my version of me, and the truth. Many people can go to the religious aspect, and the ultimate truth is how we serve the Lord and who we are to other people and things like that. I honestly believe the first two, yours and mine, truth or versions of ourselves, is your version influences my version. And no matter how many times after you've insulted me or told me what a bad person I was, or you're disappointed, or the whole shebang, I might be the one going, no, I'm not. I understand I'm not. Deep down there, that little tiny little thing I told you about? If we haven't learned to silence it, it starts growing. And that becomes my truth. It doesn't become the truth. The truth comes when you look at that person and you go, I accept what you have said. If that is how you see me, that is fine. I know how you make me feel when you say things like that, and I don't like it. But I know my truth. The ultimate truth for me is I am a good person. I love people. I love myself. I am good enough. So, very long story short. Long story. I mean, we're sitting on 80 minutes. No matter your experience between family, between yourself, always remember there's three sides to any truth. But, and in the mess of what I'm trying to say here was about my family. And I'll go back to that quickly. Very chaotic video. Just shows you where my head is after that conversation. So I started this video going maternal side, craving attention. Paternal side was just like open arms. And like I said, the maternal side had like stomped on me and ground me and you want whatever. And the paternal side was come home. And until I could find my truth and who I am, I couldn't accept the love that the paternal side had for me and that they wanted to give. Because my maternal side had denied me that. They denied me the faith and the encouragement and the making me feel loved part of it. And through my paternal side, yes, I feel loved and they give me love and they tell me I'm great. But there's also that force of going, okay, yeah, that's been cuck. But who are you today? And the fact that they stand by me while I make these moves and choices and they support me. Most families would have gone, oh my gosh, you're leaving your job. You're making a huge mistake. This family is going, woohoo, woohoo, you're doing great. What kind of support is that? That's the support everyone needs in this life. Little cheerleaders along the way. And Wimpy, I'd love to see you in a little skirt with poms. But anyways, so all I really want to get to is saying, blood is not thicker than water. It's who would they, I don't want to say lay down their lives, and it sounds a bit dramatic, but those that you would give of yourself and they would give of themselves for you. Okay. Secondly, three sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth. Okay. Remember, anyone else's version of you becomes a small integral part of your personality. And that means their truth becomes a version of your truth. But that is not the absolute truth. So find your absolute truth. Find your absolute you. And lastly, I want to give the support to, I want to pay it forward for what I got on Sunday. So may you may you feel loved today. May you feel that you are doing a fantastic job, because I think you are. Well, you've stuck out 21 minutes here, so that's a great job already. Well done. What I'm saying is, you have a lot to give, and you are giving a lot to the world. Don't ever forget that. No matter what's going on, no matter how much nonsense is going on in your life, go to the mirror today and go, I love you. Obviously, talking to yourself. You are fantastic. I am grateful to be here. So, I'm going to end off at just over 22 minutes, and I'm going to say, don't forget to go to the mirror. I'm going to go do that now. Thank you for hanging on and waiting for my video, and for those who support me and want to know why I'm not posting. If you like this, like, subscribe, and then hit the little alarm thing bell so that you can be notified when there's new posts. And again, I appreciate everything, and thanks for being with me on this journey. Have a wonderful day. Bye.